stopped in Williams, Arizona, and we were able to fill up our propane tanks. So we've got 2 full tanks now as far as that goes. We put about, 3 gallons of diesel because it was really expensive there. And I use an app on my phone called Gas Buddy, and it informed me that we can get it for like 60 cents a gallon cheaper
It's $20 on a fill-up.
in Flagstaff. So that's what we're doing. We've got the phone GPS is taking us to this gas station that's supposed to be have the diesel for a better price. And then the girl at the last gas station told us that eastbound out of Flagstaff, somewhere between Flagstaff and Winslow, they've got the entire interstate shut down because of some dust storm. And so I looked it up, and sure enough, and they're predicting that it could be shut late into the evening. So we were planning on staying on the interstate, but now we're probably going to have to regroup and figure out something different. Fortunately, this area is just surrounded by national forests and state parks and different things, so maybe we'll just go to one of those places and wait the dust storm out, or try to make some sort of bypass of it. There's a house down there. Don't try to look at it. You wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
I'm watching her.
That's a good idea. We're between Flagstaff and Sedona, Arizona. We're looking for a campsite eventually. 15 miles an hour. This is Arizona 89. First time I've ever driven down it. We're in Sedona, Arizona, and they talk about tourist city, man. But at any rate, lots of cool stuff. Scenery is gorgeous. It's funny story time. I was just getting the camera out and I was gonna talk about something. Now I've already forgotten what it was, because while I was doing that, Dave decided to try to start the truck and see if it was gonna start. I've discussed the issue of the cold weather in our truck before. So I'm in here and I'm like having some tunes on the iPod, and this thing's got a little tiny speaker in it so you can play it. So I was playing the music, and when he started the truck, this thing stopped playing, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? So I came over and I turned the volume up all the way, and I still didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden we heard some sort of like major thumping noise, and we thought it almost sounded like somebody was beating on the hood of the truck or something. And we both freaked out, and we were like, what the hell is that? And I went outside, and it sounded like it was coming from the front of the truck. And we're like, oh my God, you know, what is going on? Is there like some sort of creature in our engine, and it's in there being, you know, murdered, or like the engine's about to blow up? We didn't know what the heck. What happened was, when he turned the truck on, the Bluetooth radio connected with the iPod that I had on, and it was like System of a Down playing. And if you're not familiar with System of a Down, so that's the tune that was railing when we turned the truck on, and it connected up with the iPod. It's like, what would you say is like heavy metal?
Yeah,
and when I cranked the volume up on the iPod, it affects the volume on the Bluetooth radio in the truck. So I had the volume cranked, and the System of a Down started playing. Right when he cranked up the truck, it was kind of at the end of one song, so it wasn't System of a Down playing before, and it wasn't that loud. Anyway, when I got out and walked to the front of the truck, and then I realized what was going on, and pretty happy that it wasn't the engine blowing up. Or talk about freaking us out. My heart was just like, oh my God, now what? Okay, so in other news, besides us freaking ourselves out with the radio in the truck and the iPod, I think the plan is that after we're done having our coffee and stuff, we're going to go over about 6 miles from here. Off in the sticks on these dirt roads, there is a like cliff dwelling remains, like artifacts and stuff, and they have a little, I guess somebody's like, I've read on the internet they have volunteers who man this place. Anyway, since it's so close, we're gonna go see it. But this whole area where we're camping, this was all inhabited by these like cliff dwelling types of Native American peoples. So we swear that there's like, we're seeing some sort of stuff here at this campsite that looks like it could have been, someone could have lived here a long, long time ago. Like, just, there's a place where it's all flat and there's all these rocks laid out, and it almost looks like steps going up to it, and looks like the perfect leveled out spot where you would like build a house maybe. And then we also found some things in the rock that almost look like the, I don't know what the name is, official name that they've given them, but where like they grind stuff in the rock. They use like a hollowed out, ground out spot in rock, and then they grind corn or grain and stuff. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So we're keeping our eyes open for archaeological stuff. Dave and I are at some sort of cliff dwelling ruins, and I don't know, there's like people taking off already. We might have missed the thing unless they let us walk up there and catch up.
Those people. It's not our fault.
started at 1125. They moved up out of the valley down here where they lived in pit houses where you go down 4 feet in. These people are called Nagas, which means people without water. You get down here, you'll see the propane.
Well, we're doing the wood rock.
These things, ghosty guys, because they look like ghosts. But those are our campers. And the cool thing here is this little guy right there. I like this story. The Hopis tell us that's part of their...
Just the nature part.
This is where I'd make my house too if I was an Indian. So we just got done with our tour of the cliff-dwelling remnants and the pictographs and petroglyphs. Now we're just out bouncing around on some dirt roads south of Sedona. He's coming faster than I can walk. We found a new, much cooler campsite back here. I think our heads might be facing a little down that way. You might have.
Turn around and back in.
Yeah. We always have to position ourselves when we get to our camp spot. We don't travel with any of those little things like everybody else uses to level themselves. Okay. Like, you don't really need those wheel leveling things. You know, some people have fridges, I guess, that are supposed to be like super level or else they don't work properly. Ours is not like that, so. So many different kinds of rocks, different looking.
I'm never gonna.
Here, what?
Look at that one. That's
Oh my goodness. Dave keeps finding the most fantastical rocks. There's one that's kind of got some interesting shape to it. Desert in Sedona area, and we're headed east. We're about to turn on 87, headed north towards Winslow. We avoided the interstate. We could have took the interstate to go where we're going, and it probably would have been, I don't know, faster, I guess, but this is way more scenic. So that's our choice. Take the scenic route whenever you're not in a hurry.